No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown. Hey! Hello and welcome to this tutorial for No Woman, No Cry. Well, you recognize the song and I'm sure you're dying to play it. There are lots of tutorials out there, but in this one we're going to have a really good look at the simple rhythmical elements that make this song really special. It's a very simple song, but it's also very easy not to play quite the right way. So that's what we're going to focus on in the first part of this video. And also we're going to have a look at lots of finger picking in the second part where we can actually play the melody. And we can add also this little motif also in two different ways. And we're going to have a look at all of this in this video, which is going to be an extended look at Bob Marley's great classic. And before we start, I really want to extend a big thank you, and maybe your big thank you too, to all of the patrons making these tutorials possible over on the Ukulele Road Trips Patreon page. It takes me hours and hours to do these and to figure them out. They're not always that simple, but I try to make them as simple as possible for you. And that's all thanks to the patrons, so thanks to you guys. And if you want to become a patron too, be part of the generous band funding these lessons, well, you can hop over to my Patreon page and then you'll also get all the tabs and song sheets for the tutorials. On to the song and on to the chords, and they're these four. They look familiar, don't they? It's because they are familiar. It's C, G, A minor, and F. And they're really not that tricky. Make sure you play the A minor with your middle finger so that then you can just add the index to make an F. A minor, F. And then C and G, pretty straightforward. Make sure on the G that all the strings ring nicely and then you're good to go. A minor and F. And this is what's very important in this song. And this is how the chords happen. Basically, throughout the song, anyway, the intro and the chorus, it is these two sets of chords. So C, G, A minor, F, and then C, F, C, G. And it's like this in the chorus, in the intro. And what is really important to do is something that gives the charm to the song and its sort of grooviness, is that two chords in these 8 will actually arrive slightly before their planned beat. So the beat is like this: 1, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first F and the second C of the second line, they will be landing slightly before, which means that this is happening. C and G and A minor and F and 2, C and F and C. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then the F and that second C, they land on the 4 of the chord, the 4. So they arrive slightly before, and this is what is played throughout the whole song and gives it this continuous moving sensation. And a lot of people, for example, do not do this or do it on the A minor, but that's a mistake. So let's practice this together. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, chord. And C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. C, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is really important that you do get it. It may sound a bit strange to practice all these 1, 2, 3, 4s. What's this about? But this slowly will seep into your playing, and once you can do this naturally, the F and the C slightly before the main beat, well, then that will be useful throughout the whole song, not only playing and singing it, but also the finger picking bit, because that's there all the time. So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, F, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, C, F, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. If you say the name of the chord here, A minor, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you have the you have the rhythm already. And once you play the chord that's a bit before, then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then play the next chord. A minor, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, G, 2. And it's like this throughout the whole song. Okay, now we'll move on to the intro and to the first chorus, and you'll see what I mean and how important this is. So, C. So let's start together. Okay, get your C ready. 1, 2, C, 2, G, 2, A minor, F, 2, C, 2, F and a C, 2, G, 2. No woman, no cry, and F, C. No woman, no cry, G. No woman, no cry, F and C. No woman, no cry, G. Said, Anyway, before I get carried away, you've noticed that maybe one is easier than the other. The first F, to play it before, you really need to focus, right? But the second C of the second line, no woman, no cry, that's easy because it lands on the cry. The C that's before the beat lands on the cry. No F, woman, no cry, before the beat, woman, no cry, and then a G. But this one, no woman, no cry, F is landing before, and there's no lyrics to go with it, so you need to remember this and practice that. And then the verse will basically be just these 4 chords from the pattern, the first 4 ones, repeated. So these are the chords of the verse, and these are the chords of the chorus. And in the verse, it's the same G, A minor, F that's happening. A minor, F. I'll show you here. 3, 4, C. Said I remember, and A minor, when we used to sit, F on sit, and it's that before thing. In the government yard in Trenchtown, F. Oba Servinda, hypocrites, F before, as they would mingle with the good people we meet, F. And good friends we had, oh, good friends we've lost along the way, and F. C. In this bright future, you can't forget your past. So the F on your. You can't forget your past. So dry your tears, as I say. And no cry. Oh, it's such a lovely song. I hope you can play it with this rhythm, and that will make me very, very, very happy. You need to be very careful. Where do the chords land? I spent lots of time trying to figure out exactly how that version from 1975 was sang and expressed, and the chords really land on the right words here, which I don't think you'll find in so many places, but you'll find them here. So for example, the very beginning, the C lands over nothing, so it's C, and then you start singing. Said I, G on member, and A minor on when we, and F on sit, when we used to sit, in the government yard, C alone, in the government, G on mint yard in Trenchtown, trench with the A minor, and then the F is alone, so Trenchtown, F, because it's A minor, F, 2, 3, 4, A minor, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, A minor, F, 3, 4. Good friends we have. As you noticed, I was only strumming one downstroke softly per chord, but of course we can strum this in different ways. We can fingerpick it, but also we can have a go at strumming it. So a simple strumming would be this one. That's if you don't want anything complicated. Down, 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 G, 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 A, and F. 1, 2, 3, C. Down, down, F. Down, C. Dum, 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 dum. So it's important that once you start strumming, that the chords that landed earlier beforehand, they still land earlier now. It's just the strumming has to work with that. If you want to strum it, I would say you go down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down. So basically, it's down, 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 up, with a sort of a chuck, a hit on the strings to have a bit of a percussive element on the third down strum. So slowly, it's like this.
I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown.
So the tricky thing is to incorporate that chord landing beforehand in your strumming. What happens is you have down, down, chaka, chaka, G, G, chaka, chaka, A, chaka, F. So it's A, chaka, F instead of A, chaka, chaka, F. And for the second line of the verse, for example, it would be like this. C, chaka, chaka, F, F, chaka, C, chaka, chaka, G, chaka, chaka. So C, F, C. So this C still has to land beforehand. You can also fingerpick these chords. There's a fingerpicking pattern in the document and it sounds like this. So you see the F still landing beforehand. G, A minor, F, 1, 2. The way that we're playing this is like this. First thumb and middle finger, and then index, and then the other fingers. And you notice there's a little pause after the F when it comes a bit early. Dum, tim, tum, no. Let's sing that second verse with this fingerpicking pattern. 3, 4. Said I remember in minor when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown, F early, C. And then Georgie would make a firelight, F early, as it was logwood burning through the night. C. Then we would cook cornmeal porridge, F and C, of which I'll share with you, A minor, F, 1, 2, 3, C. My feet is my only carriage. Oh, I forgot to do it. Wait. My feet is my only carriage. That's better. So I've got to push on through, but while I'm gone. And then it's the everything's gonna be alright bit, which has no chords in advance. You can just strum it as it comes, and you can use that strumming pattern that we had a look at. 1, 2, chaka chaka. So 1, 2, chaka chaka, 1, 2, chaka chaka, 1, 2, chaka chaka, 1, 2. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 So a man don't cry. Oh, and I didn't mention, actually, it's one of my favorite things in the song. It's when the song starts and they've got this loop going on. C, G, A minor, F beforehand. And then there's this woman's voice that sings like this. I just like that bit, so feel free to sing that. It starts on this note. And if you listen to the 1975 version, look out for it, because it's there at the beginning hiding, but it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite things in the song. Also, one thing is that Bob Marley always sort of changes around how he sings it. He would never sing something twice the same way. So for example, at the beginning he sings it like this. No woman, no cry. Which means that the cry actually falls on the A minor. But sometimes he'll sing it, no woman, no cry. So the cry before the A minor, F in advance, of course, that's always the case. No woman, no cry. What is this little finger picking thing, you may ask? Well, really good question. Good job for asking it, because without finger picking the melody, I mean still using the ukulele as the accompaniment instrument for you to sing, you can actually add some things in your playing that will really expand the song and make it sound so authentic and so close to the original, while still, of course, not having a whole band live in London. One of the first things is on the 3 and 4 of the G, which means in the second part of playing the G in this chorus loop, you can play this open 3-2, open 5-3, open 7-5, and then open string here. And that's how it starts. G. So slowly that's, and then you can start. Oh, woman, no cry, A minor, F in advance, and then to come from the F and go back to the C, you can actually pull off the C. Pull off the C, how do you do that? You play an F, just the first 3 strings, and you pull off here to make these 3 strings ring. So you need to be quite aggressive with this. And then there's the little woman no cry, which is super easy. It's just 1 and 2 here, open, 1 and 2 here, and open. Woman no cry. And then the G. And when you add this, then you have a great accompaniment for you to sing. Sorry, it's a bit cold. No woman no cry. No woman no cry. No woman no cry. No woman no cry. So you see, I'm using the finger picking pattern that we had a look at for the verse, and I'm also adding these elements. The G1, the early F, and pull off F, and then woman no cry accompaniment on the ukulele. And even if you don't want to finger pick the whole melody, this is really nice to add a sweet finger picking touch to your version. And as long as you do the early F and the early C on the second line of the chorus, your version will be absolutely fantastic. And now let's have a look at the finger picking tab of the melody of verse and chorus. And here it is for you to enjoy. So the tab starts with 2 loops of the intro. And it starts with a G just before that, like this. Early F and pull off. And motif. And then the G thing. And then again another loop. And early F, boom, boom, pull off, motif. And then you can start the song, because that was the intro. So now the no woman, no cry part. No woman, no cry. Open. No woman, no cry. And then the G motif. No woman, no cry. Oh, 1, oh, open. So this may look a bit tricky, but actually it's not that hard if you really take it slow. The one thing you need to look out for is in the tabs in the first chorus, which is what I just played, No Woman I Cry. It's open, 3, and then here it's not No woman no cry. It's no woman no. It's a triplet. No woman no, and then A minor. Cry. There's a late note here and a hammer up and a pull off here, right? And then the early F. Oh. And then higher up here on the 7, and you have to have your index finger all across the 5s here. And then back to C and the G motif. Okay, and now on to the verse. 3, 4. Early F, and then onto the chorus after that. So I'll just walk you through it. Here, you have to have your index finger all across the 7th fret, and then your little finger on the 10 here, and then the A minor and the F. La la da da da. You're already playing the da 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 here on the 5. Da da. So it's 5 over here, 5 over here. Da, 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 dee, da, dee, da. There's a pull off here with the little finger. You need to be strong and ask your little finger to play this note. And then F. La, da, dee. Same thing here. And here you just play the first 3 and then the melody. Da, da, and then the 5s here. Da, dee, 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 dee. And early F. And then on to No Woman, No Cry again. No woman, no cry. Early F. Open. No woman, no cry. And then the G motif. G. No woman, no cry. Early F. O, 1, O. Everything open. No woman, no cry. The nice thing is that you can go woman up here and then pluck everything again on no, and then again on cry. No woman, no cry. Brum, bum, brum, bum. Now we're going to have a look at something really cool, which is my second favorite thing after the woman singing her high notes in the song, and it's the little motif that goes dee 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 dee. The way that it sounds in the verse is like this. So it's this thing. Da, 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 dee, dee, dee. So there's a pull off and a hammer on. So it's only 1 pluck and then 3 notes. And then open string and little finger 5th fret of the 3rd string. And then pull off. So so I'm only plucking strings 3 times, but there's lots of pull off and hammer on action here. And the other way to play it is to be up here and pull off B, and then same place as with the little finger, but the hand is here higher. This one is for when you're down here, and this one is for when you're up here. So you can choose whichever one you want, and you can put it all the time after the early F. Right, that's where you can play it. Every time there's an early F, you can play this after it. So no woman, no cry. Early F. No woman, no cry. You can't play it here because that was the early C, not the early F. But in the verse, I remember when we used to sit. What's important is to understand that it's not there's a skip. Well, there you go. The uke solo tabs are yours to download if you choose to hop over on the Patreon and be one of the merry gang. And I hope you have lots of fun with this great song, and I'll see you again soon for more. Bye!